got what you wanted, the job, the money, the title, the respect. But something still feels off. That ache in your chest didn't leave. The silence got louder. And for the first time you're asking, is this all there is? The Stoics would nod, not because they wanted less, but because they understood that more isn't the cure. In fact, more often reveals the emptiness you were trying to cover. Success isn't wrong, but success without alignment? That's a trap. You climb the ladder only to realize it was leaning against the wrong wall. You tick the boxes, but your soul's still restless. Because achievement doesn't guarantee meaning, and pleasure doesn't equal peace. The Stoic knew, if you don't define why you're chasing something, even when you catch it, you'll feel lost. So the question isn't, how do I get more? It's, do I even want what I'm chasing? Or did I borrow that desire from someone else? The problem isn't success. The problem is confusing success with fulfillment. You were told once you make it, everything else would fall into place. But the Stoic never believed that lie. Marcus Aurelius ruled the most powerful empire on earth, yet wrote daily reminders to himself about humility, death, and detachment. Why? Because he knew. Even the throne can feel hollow if your mind isn't anchored. Modern success is noisy, metrics, followers, validation. But the Stoic isn't chasing noise, he's chasing substance. He asks, what am I actually building here? Does this align with who I want to be? If the answer is no, the applause becomes meaningless. And that's why most people crash after achieving something big. They never defined their own standard. They were climbing someone else's mountain the whole time. You don't need to throw away ambition, you just need to ground it. Measure it differently, build it from the inside out, not outside in. Because if your success isn't anchored to values, it'll collapse under its own weight. The Stoic doesn't reject success, he redefines it. He doesn't measure it in numbers, trophies, or titles. He measures it in alignment. Am I living by my values? Did I remain unmoved by praise or insult? Did I keep my word to myself today? That's success. Quiet, personal, unshakable. Because when you build from that place, the world can't touch you. Not through applause, not through attack. But here's what most never realize. Real fulfillment doesn't come after achievement. It comes before, when your actions are already meaningful, whether or not the world sees them. The Stoic trains for that kind of peace, the kind that doesn't need noise to feel real. And when he achieves something external, it doesn't define him, it reflects him. And if this message hits something in you, if you felt the emptiness even after winning, then you're in the right place. Inner Legion isn't about chasing empty goals, it's about fortifying what matters. So if you're ready to flip the script on success and build something that lasts, subscribe. We're not chasing more, we're building better. Success feels empty when it's disconnected from meaning. That's why so many high achievers quietly fall apart. They conquered the mountain, but lost themselves on the climb. They didn't fail by society's standards, they failed by their own. Because they ignored the quiet voice asking, why are you doing this? They silenced their gut in favor of noise, and now they're left with echoes. The Stoic doesn't chase success to escape himself. He chases clarity to understand himself. He strips away the false goals, the performative ambition, the borrowed dreams. What's left is raw. It's not always impressive, but it's real. And that's the foundation for lasting strength. He'd rather build slowly with purpose than fast with emptiness. Because he knows, external success without internal structure is just a house of cards. You don't need to reject everything you've built. You need to reconnect with why you built it. Reclaim the mission. Reinforce the mindset. And if it no longer aligns, have the courage to pivot. Because staying misaligned just to look successful, that's the slowest way to die inside. There comes a point when you stop asking, what else can I get? And start asking, what do I actually need? That shift changes everything. Because the Stoic doesn't build his life around consumption, he builds it around contribution. Not, how much can I stack, but, what kind of man am I becoming while I build? That question scares people, it forces honesty, and most aren't ready for that kind of mirror. But the Stoic stands in front of it every day. He checks his ambition, he audits his ego, and he doesn't confuse being busy with being fulfilled. That's why his success doesn't need celebration. It needs consistency. It's not about being known, it's about being aligned, calmly, quietly, fully. Because when you've built your life on solid internal ground, the outside world becomes optional, not essential. And that's where peace begins. Not after you reach the peak, but when you realize the climb is only worth it if it reflects your values. If not, the view from the top feels just like the emptiness you tried to escape. Success without soul is just noise in a nicer car, louder applause in an emptier room. The Stoic knows, it's not the size of your wins that matter, it's the weight they carry inside you. That's why he builds from the center, not for show, not for followers, but for fortitude, for alignment, for the kind of quiet self-respect that no audience can give, and no failure can take. You can chase titles, chase milestones, chase validation, but if you haven't answered the harder questions, it will all echo hollow. What are you building? Who are you becoming while you build it? And when it's quiet, really quiet, are you proud of what's left when the noise fades? The Stoic doesn't fear success. He just refuses to let it define him. Because when the crowd leaves, when the lights dim, and you're alone with your choices, that's when the truth shows up. And if your life doesn't echo who you really are, no trophy will ever fill that silence. So ask yourself this: if no one ever knew your name, would you still live this way?